Ippo began developing the newest version of the Dempsey Roll right after his second professional boxing loss after his bout with Alfredo Gonzalez. Ippo accidentally discovered a new variant by simply weaving in and then landing an uppercut. From that point, Ippo dedicated his training solely to perfecting this horizontal-vertical combo and showcased it at the gym. While the power behind it was impressive, Kamogawa noted that Ippo could evolve it even further. Instead of the horizontal-vertical combo, he suggested Ippo weave diagonally and use his momentum to throw uppercuts or hooks, allowing him to shift back into the Dempsey Roll. Despite weeks of training to perfect this new form, in his debut match, Ippo was so focused on showcasing the Dempsey Roll that he was so thrown off his game, ultimately losing the bout without even demonstrating the full destructive potential of the new Dempsey Roll. But what if I told you that Ippo had used this variant of the Dempsey Roll by pure accident long before his fight with Alfredo Gonzalez? This moment occurred back when Ippo set his sights on challenging other national champions to boost his world ranking, specifically in his fight against the Thai featherweight champion Jimmy Sisphar. Following Kamogawa's instructions, Ippo improvised on the spot and unconsciously used the diagonal Dempsey Roll for the first time, delivering a one-shot knockout to his dominant opponent, who otherwise wouldn't have gone down. It all happened when the Kamogawa boys returned from their training camp and were surprised to learn that Ippo would be having another match soon. At this point, Itadaki was forbidden from sparring with Ippo, as Ippo would be facing powerhouses in the near future, and the concern was for Itadaki to avoid sustaining damage from sparring with him. It was revealed that Jimmy Sisphar is the same guy Miyata fought and developed the Jolt counter against, as seen in both in the anime and the manga. Ever since the match, Jimmy has become somewhat unhinged, having fought a total of 45 times with only 7 losses. He averaged almost 9 fights per year, and it shows. When his plane landed in Japan, the scars on his face were visible, hence his nickname Scratch J. The moment he arrived, he was baffled by the Japanese people and remembered his fight with Miyata and was yapping about the Fist of God. At the weigh-ins, Jimmy's presence intimidated Ippo so much that he hid behind Kamogawa. When it was revealed that this fight was crucial for advancing on the world stage, Jimmy asked if Miyata would be watching. It was confirmed that there was a high possibility as Miyata saw Ippo as his rival. This answer invigorated Jimmy and he swore to KO Ippo with the hands of God. Later we learned that during his match with Miyata, Jimmy claimed to have seen God, who awarded him with the hands of God to become a great boxer. It's heavily hinted that Jimmy is suffering from brain damage, as his obsession with this god and his struggle to put words together are apparent, so I can't help but to feel bad for him. On the day of the fight, Kamogawa's strategy was to stop Jimmy from getting too close to Ippo by not allowing him to charge. Ippo was ready to comply, but when the match began, Jimmy took a few steps back and charged at Ippo with full speed dash. This single punch drove Ippo into the corner, and Jimmy charged again right into the corner and gave Kamogawa a jump scare. Ippo realized that he was fighting against a wild boar and needed to adjust. However, all he could do was block while Jimmy kept delivering powerful punches and dashing back to repeat the pattern. Ippo had to adapt quickly and decided to charge in faster to land quicker blows. He started landing liver shots and solid hits to put Jimmy at a disadvantage, but Jimmy twisted his body and used all his weight to deflect Ippo's fists. He was mimicking Miyata's Jolt counter but with his own spin, calling it the Tornado Jolter. He used the move against and actually hit Ippo, making Ippo do a full backflip and crash into the mat. The ref, however, called it a slip as Ippo and Jimmy's fists crossed, essentially causing Jimmy to lift Ippo. Somehow this freaking ref sees an impossible to see a high caliber slip, but can't see obvious fouls even the crowd is able to catch, like the mod match that was Mashiba vs Sawamura. In the second round, Ippo charged at Jimmy again, landing solid blows. Jimmy went for another Thunder Jolt, which Ippo dodged, but it was just a setup for a follow-up Jolter from the other arm. Ippo took that hit head on, barely surviving it, but reassured Kamogawa that he was fine. Ippo had to come up with something, so he decided to attack Jimmy when he was wide open, right when Jimmy was throwing a punch. Both exchanged blows with Ippo on the verge of giving up, while Jimmy was dashing right into Ippo's corner. But just in time, Ippo collapsed right into his chair as the bell rang. That was very nice too. Kamogawa wanted Ippo to continue just to pressure and throw hands like wild cavemen. Meanwhile, Takamura scissors Aoki's eyes. The round began and both charged at each other. Jimmy first jolted Ippo's fist away, but Ippo also put all his weight into his leg, and both punched each other's fists, sending shockwaves through the arena. Ippo continued his strategy, and Jimmy realized that Ippo was also throwing jolts now. But not only that, Ippo threw multiple jolts, building momentum from the previous jolt. Jimmy was now getting overwhelmed, and both had a close infight where Ippo threw heavy punches until the round ended. Kamogawa saw Ippo's potential to do something unique technique with the jolts, so he ordered Ippo to combine the jolt into an uppercut to finish Jimmy off, which Ippo accepted. Jimmy was not about to give up either, as he wanted to take his god all the way to the world stage. So when the round began, both were again in a close-in fighting contest. Jimmy threw the jolts like crazy while Ippo dodged and used his dodging momentum to throw a Jolt-Uppercut, which didn't connect and both men's heads collided. Now they were both covered in blood and Ippo couldn't see, so Jimmy took this opportunity and threw a jolt which almost sent Ippo down, until Ippo literally saw the god in the lights. Ippo came back to his senses and we get to see the coolest ending sequence to a fight and our first tease of the diagonal Dempsey roll that Ippo would use in the near future. Ippo threw another jolt and used the momentum to transition into the Dempsey roll, as he would later do in the story. Jimmy tried to counter with one last jolt, but Ippo dodged it, used the Dempsey roll momentum to perform a jolt counter uppercut, and from the lights saw the god, who was Kamogawa with the mitts, ready to hit the target with a devastating uppercut, which tore Ippo's leg muscles and sent Jimmy flying down to the mat for good. It only took one punch from this proto-diagonal Dempsey roll to finish off an opponent who otherwise didn't budge to any of Ippo's attacks. This is the very first time we see this evolved state of the Dempsey roll that Ippo will develop in the future, where he uses his momentum to throw uppercuts and transition back into the Dempsey roll. It is a nice teaser. Jimmy then got back up and saw Ippo for the last time. When he woke up, he noted that he had seen the devil himself and no longer wanted to box, saying he was going to retire. He also said it was God who gave Ippo his last bit of strength to finish him off. This was also the fight where Ippo got his nickname, Fujin, meaning the god of wind. Characters like Kamogawa and Takamura realized Ippo's newest potential with the free roam Dempsey roll and how destructive it could be to finish off his opponents like Miyata. But unfortunately, we won't see any improvement on the Dempsey roll for another 300 chapters. On his way back home, Ippo also accepted that he might never fight Miyata and needed to go his own path to greatness. If you have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Jimmy no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow and thanks for watching.